On Senator Leno, I believe that at one time you were going to move item number 1, SB 654 by Mr. De Leon.
That is my desire.
That is your desire? This is item number 1, members. Assistant, please call the roll.
Item 1, SB 654 by Senator De Leon. The motion is due pass and referred to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski.
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines. Bates. No. Bates, no. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Jackson. Aye. Jackson, aye. Leno.
Aye.
Leno, aye. Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. 5-1.
5-1, we'll keep that open for Senator Gaines. Item number 2, 673 by Senator Lara. We have a motion by Senator Hill. Please call the roll.
Item 2, SB 673 by Senator Lara. The motion is due pass as amended and referred to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski.
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines. Bates.
No.
Bates, no. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Jackson, aye. Leno.
Aye.
Leno, aye. Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. 5-1.
That's 5-1. We'll keep that open for the absent member. Item number 26, the mysterious goo measure by Senator Leno, SB 718. Do we have a motion by Senator Hill? Please call the roll.
Item 26, SB 718 by Senators Leno and Hancock. The motion is due pass as amended and referred to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski.
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines. Bates.
No.
Bates, no. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Jackson, aye. Leno.
Aye.
Leno, aye. Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. 5-1.
That's a 5-1. We'll keep that open for Senator Gaines. And finally, item number 29, SB 763, regarding flame retardant chemicals. Please call the roll, Assistant.
Motion.
Oh, is there a motion? Senator Hill, thank you.
Item 29, SB 763 by Senator Leno. The motion is due pass and referred to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski.
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines. Bates. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Jackson, aye. Leno.
Aye.
Leno, aye. Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye.
All right, thank you. All right, 5-1, that matter will remain on, 5-0. That will remain on call. Let's turn our attention to safe drinking water and drinking fountains. And SB 334, Senator, good morning, and please proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Thank you very much for hearing me today. I'd like to thank the chair and the committee for your work on this bill, and I will be happy to accept the proposed amendments. SB 334 is about making sure that our children can drink clean, safe water at school. This bill will ensure that water is adequately provided on school campuses and that it is safe to consume. There is currently no requirement in state law to test drinking water at school sites for any lead or any other contaminant. This bill will expand the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Act and direct the Department of Public Health to test water provided on school campuses through drinking fountains and other sources. Where water issues are found, school districts will need to ensure that students have access to clean water and develop a plan to fix the problem. This bill will also put in place reporting processes and require that best practices are developed to ensure that we minimize the dangers of lead. It goes without saying that exposure to lead and other contaminants is a major health concern, particularly for young adults and children who are more susceptible than adults to their harmful effects. Children can develop anemia, stomach problems, hearing impairment, and even liver or kidney damage. Even small amounts of exposure can make it difficult for students to learn and excel in school. There is no safe amount of lead that can be consumed. Of course, we must also remember that there are positive effects of drinking water. Drinking water is crucial to preventing health risks such as obesity. Over 30% of California school-age children are overweight or obese, increasing their risk of developing diabetes and cardiovascular disease later in life. Clearly, schools have a responsibility to provide clean drinking water to students and promote healthy habits. Unfortunately, chemicals such as lead, which are harmful, may be present in water provided at some California schools. In the absence of upgrades to aging school facilities, many schools have lead plumbing and other potential sources of lead in their buildings. Some of you may not know, but lead pipes were only outlawed in schools in 2010, so that's not very long ago. The extent of water quality issues at school sites is unknown, as the testing of water and the subsequent reporting has been piecemeal at best. We do know that this is an issue that should not be ignored. SB 334 seeks to recommit our state and schools to providing safe drinking water and continue supporting healthy habits. I'm committed to working with the members of this committee and other stakeholders to ensure that our kids have safe drinking water in our schools. I respectfully request an aye vote, and I have some supporters here who will testify also. Yes.
Before we hear from the supporters, the staff report says the LA Unified School District suggested it's $20,000 to replace the drinking fountain.
That's a little high.
One finds that shocking.
Yes.
And do you have, I mean, I don't expect you to be the final word on drinking fountain replacement, but that just seems rather high. And I would hope that as we go forward, we take a look at that, of what obviously we want to have safety, but it just seems unbelievably high.
Well, that is a little high. Our research shows that replacing a drinking fountain runs between $5,000 and $15,000, depending on where it's bought, who does the work.
Right.
However, I would say this is a serious issue, and the money can't stand in the way of doing what's right for our children.
Yeah, I'm just saying that if we have a source of, sometimes we have architects and they just design, this is where the water fountains are going to be. And, if it's that expensive and people need water, and now they've got the little sippy cups and all that they fill up, that maybe we just have it at at a central location where there's water and everybody fills up. I'm probably the last person that actually uses a drinking fountain and drinks, but let's hear from your esteemed witnesses today to
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
inform us.
Good morning, Asha Kreiling on behalf of the Community Water Center. The Community Water Center has worked with communities, including schools, that lack safe drinking water for over 10 years. From our research and our on-the-ground work with communities and individual schools, we know that the issue of water contamination is impacting schools throughout California. Any level of exposure to contaminants in students' drinking water, be it lead or bacteria or any contaminant, is dangerous and unacceptable. The fact that no testing requirement currently exists for schools is really an oversight. The programs and the collaborative approach stipulated by SB 334 between the Department of Education and the Department of Public Health is really a key step for better targeting of resources and addressing this important issue. For these reasons, we support the bill.
Next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, Julianne Broyles here on behalf of the California Association of Joint Powers Authorities. We are the risk pools that cover many schools here in the state, and we do believe in making sure that the school environment that we provide through our and covered by our risk pools is healthy for the students who attend. That's why we think SB 334 is important, and we think that as you go forward and you look at the cost of the replacement of the water fountains over the long term versus the liability risk, it ends up being something much more cost effective for us to support and do. Ask for an aye vote.
Good morning, Deborah Brown with Children Now. For the reasons stated, we really do think that this is a good measure that will help ensure that we do have access to drinking water for our students. For all of the health reasons that I've already stated, we support the bill. Thank you.
Others in support of safe drinking water for students?
Eric Bach with the Los Angeles Unified School District. Heard you had a question. We actually were opposed to the bill, and I just want to say thank you to the Senator, because I think it addressed a lot of the concerns we have, and we're absolutely not opposed to the bill anymore. In fact, we're supportive of the attempt. I mean, what we're trying to get at is making sure that we provide a clean and healthy environment for our kids. It actually mimics a lot of what LA Unified actually has installed in our policy in our community, dating back to the 80s. So this is a great measure that we're excited about. To answer your question about the 20,000, we agree with you. It's a high number. It is what it is. And a lot of it wasn't in the analysis, but a lot of it is based on the fact that we're building filtration systems into our replacement drinking water fountains. But what we're doing to have access to those filtration systems, we're building closets behind the fountains to access the filter, so we can replace them quickly and easily. So some of that cost is associated with building those closets behind the drinking fountains. We agree that it's high. We can't afford to continue to operate at that pace anymore. So what we're looking at doing is building under cabinet units below the fountains, so where the filtration systems can be contained, so we can access it quicker for our maintenance and operations purpose. We hope with that it gets closer to somewhere between the 10 and 15,000. Not 20,000. It's still a little high, but it is what it is to get it to be done right. But we just wanted to come in and share our comments and hopefully answer your question.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, could I ask the gentleman a question, please, on
The fountain guy?
the fountain?
The fountain guy.
Is the concern with the need for the filtration system because of is it galvanized pipe that's running to those points, or is it copper pipe that's coming? And I mean, why would you need a filtration system if you're taking regular city water that is potable?
All the plumbing, and as the senator said in her comments, the plumbing leading up to that from the city to the connection.
That was my question.
Yeah,
It's not copper pipe, probably, it's old.
Yeah, and the only way you fix
Galvanized.
that is you start either tearing up the grounds, a lot of it's under the school
That's true.
buildings.
I understand, thank
So
you.
we're going to have to be looking at a filtration system until those buildings are replaced.
Great, thank you.
Others here on 334, either opposed or concerned?
Jim Lindberg on behalf of the Friends Committee on Legislation of California. We just took a support position. We don't have a letter on file, but wanted to go on record in support. Thanks.
I appreciate that. Next.
We didn't vote on
Good morning, Nick Lapis with Californians Against Waste. We actually did not send in a letter either, but we're in support because this will reduce the amount of bottled water and the wasteful practice of bottling water. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions of the author? Yes. Senator Leno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I want to applaud the boldness of the bill and to thank the author for it. As you know, we'd authored a bill a few years back that required cool, fresh drinking water for students during mealtime. And you're taking it full-time, as it should be. We also, to get the bill passed out of concern from school districts, that a school district could have the authority to make the case that they couldn't afford to do this. And you're removing that authority, so good for you on that as well. I just wanted to ask, and I know you're addressing some of the other health concerns with different national standards with regard to what's safe drinking water and what's not. I applaud that as well. I remember when we authored the bill that Berkeley Unified School District, for example, we argued, set a fine example as to how this requirement could be met. They put pitchers of water on the tables that students ate at and then provided paper cups. Nothing in your bill would prevent that.
That is correct.
Right. So there are ways to do this in a very cost-effective manner, and not unlike many of us sitting around here, we bring our own cups, reusable cups. We bring our own containers, reusable containers. Students can get in the habit of that as well.
Thank you, Senator Leno. That is correct. There's nothing in the bill that prohibits that, and where there's a will, there's a way.
I'd like to be added as a co-author.
We would love to have you as a
Thank you.
co-author. Thank you.
Others who have a drinking-related question? Just on water. Senator Pavley.
No, a really important bill, and it's not just LAUSD. It's almost everywhere. If you go into campuses now, especially during the recession, the deferred maintenance on these drinking fountains, as my kids would tell you, they're just gross.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
That would be the word, I suppose. But I think what you're seeing more and more, whether it's national parks or whatever, there's one sort of fountain with cool, clean water where kids can use reusable containers. Not that they need more in their backpack, but that's an option, because what happens is all these new wings of schools get built, and cutbacks are not adding the restrooms or the drinking fountains, so they don't have all the pipes hooked up. So that's problematic with all the portables that are put on campus. They've never caught up with that. Really important parents and the public assumes kids would have access to safe, clean drinking water on campus, especially since most of us have cut out all those soda machines.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Senator
So
Pavley.
I'd be glad to be listed as a co-author when you amend the bill, or if you amend the bill.
Thank you.
Why don't you close, Senator?
I would love to close. So thank you all very much for your attention. We too, Senator Pavley, assumed that that children had access to clean drinking water until we did a little bit of research, and I think we're all surprised that this is an issue and it's a problem, but it's something we have the ability to fix. We've done an excellent job over the years in making sure our children have better food to eat in the cafeterias. We have done a great job of banning soda machines. Now we can take it one step further and make sure that they have clean water to drink. So I respectfully ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Assistant, please call the roll. Oh, we need a motion, Senator Hill. Thank you, Senator Hill.
Item 7, SB 334 by Senator Leyva. The motion is due pass and referred to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski.
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines. Bates. Aye. Bates, aye. Hill. Aye. Hill, aye. Jackson. Leno. Aye. Leno, aye. Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. 5-0.
That's 5-0. We'll keep that matter on call for the absent members. Let's go to item number 12, your Green Assistance Program, and encased in SB 398.
Yes.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and also thank you to my co-author, Senator Pavley, on this bill. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Yes, it's still morning. SB 398 empowers our disadvantaged communities, small businesses, and small nonprofits to participate in greenhouse gas reduction programs. Specifically, it will allow these entities greater access to greenhouse gas reduction funds by creating the Green Assistance Program, GAP, as we call it for short, which will be housed at the California Environmental Protection Agency. Each year, we are seeing an increased amount of revenue from cap and trade auctions. For this year alone, we are anticipating an amount in excess of $1 billion. These monies are then deposited into the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund and distributed to various agencies and programs to help meet important GHG reduction goals. For small businesses and communities that do not have a large budget for outreach or grant writing, understanding the programs and what is available to them is a daunting and sometimes impossible task. As you know, California is home to some of the worst air quality in the nation. Sadly, that also includes the area which I'm very proud to represent, the Inland Empire, which is a heavily traveled corridor for taking goods by rail from the Port of Long Beach and Los Angeles and to the rest of the nation. Unfortunately, many of our state's most polluted areas have higher rates of poverty and higher incidences of asthma and cancer. SB 398 helps these communities, nonprofits, and local businesses, which are the backbone of many of our communities, by creating a single point of contact. The Green Assistance Program will provide technical aid to these entities by educating them on what type of funding is available, how much, as well as providing grant writing assistance. In order for California to meet its ambitious greenhouse gas emission reduction goals, every community must have a fair shot to participate. SB 398 ensures that there is equitable access to funding and programs that reduce pollution and improve the health of all of our state's communities. Here today to speak in support is Fabiola Leo, Deputy Policy Director of the California Coalition for Clean Air, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote. Fabiola?
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Committee, for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of SB 398. My name is Fabiola Lau with the Coalition for Clean Air. The Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund presents great opportunities for California to invest in the communities that are most vulnerable to climate change. While AB 32 and SB 535 create momentous opportunities to benefit these disadvantaged communities, in fact, it's these communities that too often lack the necessary resources and the technical capacity to participate in shaping investment proposals that will be competitive for funding. SB 398 would establish the Green Assistance Program at Cali, PA, to provide technical assistance in developing project proposals to small businesses, small nonprofits, and disadvantaged communities that are seeking Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund dollars. Establishing this program is an important and necessary step towards the equitable distribution of Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund dollars, and this is why I respectfully request for your aye vote. Thank you.
Others in support.
Good morning, Chair and members. Katrina Robinson here on behalf of Valley Clean Air Now to support the bill. Valley Clean Air Now runs vehicle repair and replacement programs in the Central Valley with the San Joaquin Air District. And we see every day the extreme need in these communities to help communities apply for greenhouse gas funds, identify funds that they may be eligible for, and also to run these programs. Often nonprofits will partner with local air districts or local entities to help administer the program and then do the reporting that's required back to the state, which is often very cumbersome for a local district. Sometimes they won't participate in a program just because they think it's going to add so much staff time to report back to the state. So with that, we thank the author for working with us to add nonprofits into the bill, and look forward to continuing to work with her and ask for your aye vote.
Next, in support.
Good morning. Eddie Moreno on behalf of Sierra Club California in support.
Strella Servos on behalf of the California Environmental Justice Alliance, representing over 15,000 low-income communities and communities of color that will be directly impacted and will benefit from this bill in strong support.
Hi, Parin Shah with Asian Pacific Environmental Network, strongly in support.
Good morning. Will Barrett with the American Lung Association, California, also in support.
Jim Lindberg on behalf of the Friends Committee on Legislation of California in support.
Thank you. Opposition to SB 398? Seeing none, let's bring it back to the committee. Questions of the author? There is a motion. No questions? Please go ahead and close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just say thank you for the opportunity to be here. I've been told as a new legislator we should not fall in love with our bills, and I'm not in love with this bill, but I'm in strong like of it because I think that it really helps small businesses, which we have so many in California, and it puts them on equal footing with bigger businesses who have more resources. So thank you for hearing me, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Good luck. Assistant, call the roll.
Item 12, SB 398 by Senator Leyva. The motion is due pass and referred to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wieckowski?
Aye.
Wieckowski, aye. Gaines? Bates? Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. Jackson? Leno? Aye. Leno, aye. Pavley? Aye. Pavley, aye.
That matter has 4 votes. We'll keep the roll open for members to add on. I see that Senator Walk is here. Senator Allen isn't. I had overlooked that Senator Walk has been here for most of the morning. So let's turn to item number 9, SB 367, regarding greenhouse gases and agricultural lands. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. 367 will modernize the Cannella, and it is the Cannella, named after his dad, Sal Cannella, Environmental Farming Act of 1995, which will allow for the agricultural sector to participate in the greenhouse gas emission reduction effort by developing and promoting projects and on-farm best practices in agriculture. It does a number of things. It changes it increases the membership of the panel at the Department of Food and Ag, gives them a certain number of things to do, directs $50 million to that department for a grant program to support these very kinds of projects. And this is essential because agriculture can play a very important role in the reduction of GHGs. We know from the research that things like sequestering atmospheric carbon and doing things with the soil, doing different agricultural practices can really result in a reduction of GHG gases. Now, let me get to the amends, and let me just say the staff did an excellent job, truly, in the amends. So if I can go through them, you made many suggestions. They're excellent. I want to just go through them. With the exception of, I'll just go by the numbers. The suggested amendments regarding the scientific advisory panel on page 1011 of the analysis. We accept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10. Now, let me talk about 6 and 7. 6 and 7 have to do with including on the panel, people that have relevant scientific expertise, but also have experience in applied science and project implementation, like resource conservation districts, like cooperative extension. we need to have a stakeholder meeting to talk about this. We haven't been able to convene that meeting yet. It will happen before this goes any further, or the bill will not move further. We will have that conversation. It is important to be able to resolve this. We need people on the panel who have grassroots experience as well as scientific expertise, and we agree with that. So we will, and I would be glad to bring the bill back or just discuss with the chair, as well as the chair of Ag, to whom I also made the same promise, that we will have that resolved, and I mean it this time. Okay. All right. Now, on page 12 of the analysis, and this is very important, Senator Pavley, for you, this is the quantification piece, which is very important. The only thing we're suggesting to the language is that CARB be required to work in consultation with the scientific advisory panel so that we come up with the tools for GHG quantification. We think it's important that there be that marriage. So we're proposing that. And the last, on page 4. Yes.
But you expect CARB to control it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just clarification.
Yep. And on page 14, under co-benefits, the original Cannella bill has co-benefits listed there, which, since we weren't changing the law, I just want to let you know are, great. All right, too much paper. Already existing are statutory co-benefits listed: wildlife conservation benefits, air and water quality benefits. The committee suggested others that are quite good. I would like to commit to more efficient water and energy usage, as well as reduce more efficient fertilizer and pesticide use. But I really would like, because Ag and the Enviros and everybody else is involved in the stakeholder group, I'd like to be able to, if we're going to add co-benefits, I'd really like to do that beyond the Cannella bill. Can we bring them together first and then bring that back to the committee with your agreement?
No, it's a suggestion to improve.
Yes,
improve it.
So it is indeed that.
Obviously, the stakeholder meeting, well, maybe it's not obvious. One would hope that it would be beneficial to improving, to getting all the players to make it as successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are in agreement there. Okay. So with that, I would ask for your aye vote, and I have with me Renata Brillinger from the California Climate and Agricultural Network, and Dave Runston with the Alliance of Family Farmers. I hope I got everybody's name.
Yes.
I ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Renata Brillinger here with CalCan. We're a coalition of sustainable and organic agriculture organizations, and we're very pleased to sponsor this bill, co-sponsor the bill with CAF. We're in full support of California's ambitious climate goals. And we also believe that we can't get to those goals without the active, constructive engagement of agriculture. We recognize there are challenges in quantifying these systems. They're biologically based, they're dynamic, but we also recognize there's incredible potential and promise in figuring out a way to get practices in place that sequester carbon, reduce GHGs, and have a whole bunch of other co-benefits as well. We recently produced a summary that cites about 100 or so, 125 peer-reviewed studies that demonstrate the climate benefits of various practices. We're happy to make that available to you if you haven't seen it already. The NRCS, the Natural Resources Conservation Service of the USDA, has a list of 35 agricultural practices that have climate benefits. There are several computer models that are being developed to quantify these practices. So it's a burgeoning field, it's a very exciting field, and there's growing expertise here in the state to move this forward, including among some of our most innovative growers who are really already implementing some of these practices and very keen to do more to get improve soil health, conserve water and energy, generate renewable energy, create wildlife habitat. And as I said, these all have a lot of additional co-benefits, not only for environmental purposes, but for rural community health. So in short, we see this as an important bill for incentivizing the more widespread adoption of these kinds of practices. And it really is going to be building on some important initiatives that are already underway, like the Strategic Growth Council, Sustainable Agricultural Lands Conservation Program, CDFA SWEET program, the Healthy Soils Initiative that was just released. It's all very exciting, and we're just thrilled to see these developments. The bill has the support of a number of environmental and agricultural organizations and farmers in 20 different counties around the state, and I hope we can count on your support as well. Thank you very much.
Next witness.
Dave Runson. Dave Runson from CAF. We're sponsoring this bill along with CalCan because for some years we've been working to try to, move agriculture forward in terms of greenhouse gas reduction. The ARB originally estimated that agriculture was about 7% of greenhouse gas emissions in California. Crop agriculture is about 3%. But on a world scale, it's a much larger thing. And, people come here to California from all over the world to study agriculture and to learn new technologies. And we feel like if we can make progress in California the way we are in general, with the cap and trade program, that we can have a big effect in world agriculture. There's been very concrete research done at UC Davis in conventional tomatoes production, for instance, and they've shown that you can reduce greenhouse gases by half through precision fertigation using nitrate inhibitors, soil tests, and so forth. We've had some workshops with farmers already about this. We're helping the Sustainable Ag Research Program there do outreach to farmers. We're going to have a cornfield day at the end of this month down in the Delta. There's a series of things that have been done and shown, like the Marin Carbon Project with the compost on rangeland and the no-till efforts by the university, that we can really make progress on this kind of thing. And so we really hope that you'll support our effort to move agriculture, incentivize agriculture to do this. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, very briefly, Justin Milan, in addition to representing CalCan and CAF, we represent the Compost Coalition. They're very enthusiastic support of this. It's the United Nations 2015 Year of the Soils. It's the governor's initiative on healthy soils, and the Compost Coalition recognizes that healthy soils and resilient ag means more than just adding a dump of topsoil or compost on it. It's a holistic approach, and we believe that this bill actually adopts that holistic approach, and we urge your support.
Others in support of SB 367 by Walk. Please come forward.
I'm Diana Ruday with the California State Grange, and the Grange has taken up a policy priority for organic and ecological farming, including education, incentives, and research. And we strongly support SB 367 because it recognizes the link between ecological farming and greenhouse gas emissions and is proactively approaching it to expand those activities. Thank you.
Next.
Good afternoon. Katrina Robinson on behalf of the Carbon Cycle Institute and John Witt, co-founder of the Marin Carbon Project, in support.
Thank you.
Karen Mills for the California Farm Bureau Federation in support of the bill.
Mr. Chair and members, Mark Fenstermaker on behalf of the California Association of Resource Conservation Districts and the 98 individual RCDs throughout the state. Thank you very much to Senator Wolk. We support this bill.
Brian Early on behalf of the Environmental Defense Fund in support.
Justin Rouser with Roots of Change, also in support. Thank you.
Kelly Dale on behalf of California League Conservation Voters in support.
Nick Lapis with Californians Against Waste in support.
Opposition to SB 367. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair members. Amy Mago on behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce in opposition. CalChamber supports the cost-effective implementation of AB 32. However, the decision of the California Air Resources Board to arbitrarily withhold and sell allowances will raise billions of dollars at the expense from taxpayers, which runs contrary to the express goals of AB 32, which is to maximize benefits and minimize leakage and costs. As CalChamber has long held, CARB lacks the authority to raise revenue through the auction of allowances, and given the substantial legal uncertainty surrounding these funds, we must oppose the bill. Thank you.
Others opposed? All right, let's bring it back to our the committee. Going back to the amendments on comment 3, page 11, and which is the updating existing law.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, that was fine. And in
And the technical
and
amendments.
technical amendments
Yes,
on,
fine.
on page 14, comment 8. All right.
Yes, absolutely.
Clarifying that. Senator Leonard, you're recognized.
Great bill. I do have a question which you can address in general philosophically as well as with regard to the appropriation in this bill. I was discussing with Senator Pavley. I think she's identified a couple dozen bills in both houses which have appropriations from cap and trade. And I would imagine this is a conversation we'll be having more broadly and certainly within the Budget Committee. But do we think that these kinds of appropriations should be done through the budget, or should we each be slugging it out one against the other in appropriations trying to get our bit of cap and trade for our particular focus? And I say this without prejudice at all.
No, I understand that. And that is an issue. Senator Pavley and I have discussed that very issue, and we believe that it would be a good idea to convene a working group to take a look at all the various proposals and come to some kind of agreement, at least within either the Senate or the Senate and the Assembly acting together through the budget process, so that we don't cannibalize each other. That's not the intent. We're all supportive, most of us, of greenhouse gas reduction, and everyone, we ought to work together to try and do it. So I think a working group would be an excellent idea, and I believe Senator Pavley and I have recommended that to the Pro Tem, and I hope that that happens.
I'm not surprised you're giving this good thought. Thank you. I move the bill.
Thank you.
As the chair of the subcommittee on this, that's probably a good place to, the budget subcommittee on these is a good place to start. There's a motion. Do you care to close?
I would just like to add that the Senator Cannella supported the bill, and he asked his dad about it, and he was okay too. So, because it will no longer be the Cannella bill, I don't believe. So,
all right.
I ask for your aye vote.
All right, we have a motion. Assistant, please call the roll.
Item 9, SB 367 by Senator Wolk. The motion is due pass as amended and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski?
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines? Bates? Aye. Bates, aye. Hill?
Aye.
Hill, aye. Jackson? Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Pavley? 4-0.
4-0. That will keep that matter on call. Now let's turn our attention to item number 19, SB 552, which is our public water systems in disadvantaged communities.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. We certainly know of, California is certainly a leader in lots of innovation and cutting-edge technology, but some of our communities lack the most basic of public service, and that is access to primary and secondary sources of clean drinking water. This has been made worse by the drought, and certainly was an impetus for much of the money that is put into Prop 1 by the legislature and the governor. 552 will ensure that we comprehensively address the remaining obstacles to safe and affordable water by Californians by asking the State Water Resources Control Board to do more strategic planning in this area, to identify sources of funding and to address the remaining barriers that we have both in the regulatory realm and the management of these kinds of projects, which are legioned and expensive, to resolve the ongoing challenges. We've been working with the State Water Board. This bill may change, I hope it will, to become to include confronting the issues of operations and maintenance funding of these projects in the kinds of disadvantaged and underserved communities, the issue of consolidation, and whether or not there is required to be some enforcement authority beyond what the State Board already has. So we're looking forward to resolution of these issues fairly quickly, and to, if necessary, Mr. Chair, we would bring that back to your committee.
Understood.
I ask for your aye vote. Oh, with me, I'm sorry, is Letitia Corona, who represents the Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. Welcome.
Good morning. Chair and Chair members, my name is Leticia Corona, Policy Advocate with Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. I'm here to speak on behalf of the importance of this bill and why we're co-sponsoring it. This bill is important because it fills a gap ensuring that all Californians have access to safe and affordable clean drinking water. As an organization that is based in the Central Valley, and I myself encompass what is the Fresno County and Fresno City, as well as Tulare County, work with numerous unincorporated disadvantaged communities throughout the state of California. Like I mentioned specifically, I focus in what is Central Valley. We work on a daily basis with residents who unfortunately cannot afford to have access to clean potable water and safe as well. We encounter many cases. I will share two briefly with you. One of them is a case of Lanier, which is in Tulare County on the other side of the town of what is Riverdale. These communities are predominantly 100% agriculture immigrant communities who depend on agriculture, but unfortunately receive a very low income. They do not have access to clean, portable, and safe water, I mentioned earlier. In the case of Lanier, they were able to secure funding sources a couple of years ago to get treatment plants in their community. Unfortunately, after 6 months of operation, they had to shut down the plant because they did not account with ongoing maintenance and operations to continue operating the treatment. Unfortunately, now in 2015, the community still has highly contaminated water with arsenic. Case number 2 of many is Tulare, unincorporated disadvantaged community in the county of Tulare County, Tulare County. This community, once again, 100% predominantly farm working low-income communities of color. Once again, this community has water that is highly contaminated with nitrates. These are just 2 clear examples of many communities we work with throughout the state of California who in 2015 still do not have access to clean, safe drinking water, and most importantly, affordable. That is why we believe and strongly believe and advocate for this bill, 552. Thank you very much.
Others in support of SB 552.
Andrew Grinberg, Clean Water Action in support.
Thank you.
Kyle Jones with Sierra Club, California in support.
Ryan Augusta on behalf of the California Rural Legal Assistance Foundation in support.
Katrina Robinson on behalf of Valley Clean Air Now in support.
Bill Alio for the Environmental Working Group in support.
Opposition to SB 552. Seeing none, let's return it to the committee. Members, do we have questions of the author? There's a motion by Senator Hill. Would you like to close?
Just ask for your aye vote.
Please call the roll, Assistant.
Item 19, SB 552 by Senator Wolk. The motion is due pass and referred to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wieckowski.
Aye.
Wieckowski, aye. Gaines. Bates. Hill. Aye. Hill, aye. Jackson. Leno. Aye. Leno, aye. Pavley. 3-0.
That's 3-0. We'll keep the roll open. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you
today.
very much.
Let's turn our attention to mining. And we have item number 23, SB 637 by Senator Allen regarding suction dredge mining. Good afternoon, Senator Allen.
Good afternoon, Senator.
Senator Allen, this is Dr. Monahan, who says funds. She's our scientist.